So when you hear the name, and God bless his soul, Daniel Prude, what do you think of?
I think of a man in that lost his life senselessly on our streets. I'm saddened by the way that he came to our community and lost his life. And I'm sorry that we didn't do a better job taking care of him the way that we should have. Coming from the background that I have, you have someone that's in crisis, you want to support them as best as you could. And I don't believe that we did that here. I felt that what happened to Daniel Prude was tragic, and I am very, very sorry for his family's loss.
Yes. And when you say we, who consists of we?
The people that was there to take care of him, from the police department to the paramedics to the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, although at the time, you know, I'm in my bed sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about this, right? I didn't see the video, and we talk about this, you know, till the cows come home, right? Until August, and this happened in February, I believe. That's a long time.
For you not to have seen the video.
For me not to have seen the video, but it's a long time for his family not to have heard from the city about what happened to him, about his tragic death, all of that. That situation and him losing his life, for me, I feel that we should have done a better job of helping him.
And I love the way that you're making yourself inclusive when you say we.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, unfortunately, sometimes the chatter is more like, do you ever feel like people were trying to make you like top blame of that situation, and that played into your candidacy of the next term?
I felt like it was orchestrated chaos, right? Because it really wasn't about Daniel Prude or his family. In the end, you realize that it really wasn't about them. It was about other folks and what they wanted. This man lost his life and was alone at the time, crying out for help. That needed to be dealt with, and systematic changes happened because of it, right? So when you think about the crisis intervention team that we implemented, you think about the fact that, you know, we change things on how we do policing in the community nowadays, and how we respond to people that are in a crisis like that, a mental health crisis, or, you know, suffering. But should that have happened? Should he have had to die in order for us to do that?
Right.
And so at the time, you're doing the best that you can with the knowledge and the information that you have. And I felt like I did not have all the information to make the best decisions at the time. And if I did, I would have done things completely differently. But I wasn't afforded that opportunity. And because of that, you know, you have what happened. But I understand people's upset, people were upset. I understand their pain. I understand their frustration. Most of all, I understand their anger, right? When I had before Daniel Prude, there was another gentleman, there was Christopher Pate. And although he didn't die, he suffered a terrible act, you know, at the hands of an officer that, you know, for me, we held accountable. I would have did the same thing here. But it just didn't happen that way.
Because of what I'm hearing is basically because of that gap from February to August, from you not knowing what you should have known would have been able to.
So let me just be clear on knowing, right? Okay. So what do you know? When did you know it? Yes. Everybody goes through that, right?
Right.
How things are explained to you or told to you. What I understood is something completely different. I always thought that, you know, there was a man that had a drug overdose and was taken to the hospital. the corporation counsel came down and said, listen, have you seen this video? And I'm like, no. Watching the video just infuriated me. That's when I realized what had happened and how tragic it was and how this man had died in our city.
Okay. And that infuriation caused a reaction.
Yeah, it caused a series of chain of events that to this day, will forever change our city. And, I think that we'll all be changed because of it.
Again, I love the way you keep saying we, because I need the people to know that you hear and take accountability where it should be taken. It's not as if you're trying to seemingly duck or hide or anything. You're just going off of what was told to you.
Well, yes. We will always go back and I think that when I say we, everybody that was around at that point in time that was a part of this, right? And their understanding and what and connecting and trying to connect the dots, right? It just missed the mark for everybody, right? It just missed the mark. And I think that everybody wishes that they could go back and maybe I should have said it differently. Maybe and some people feel like they might have done all that they could do at that moment in time. I, for me, don't feel like I did a great job leading the city at that point in time. We were going through so much. COVID had just hit. We're focusing on other things. So it was so much that was happening. And it's not to provide excuses, but it is to say that I definitely understand people's anger and how they feel and how they felt. And I'm sorry that I did not do my due diligence and look at the video earlier than that. Not that I had a reason to. You know what I mean? I didn't at that point in time have a reason to in my mind. And that's it.
Right. Have you ever spoken to anyone or anyone in the Prude family directly or personally?
I reached out, but I can understand the sentiments. I actually saw Mr. Prude's brother probably about a year ago when I was walking to court one day, and he said, "Oh, I've been looking for you," and I said, "My number hasn't changed. I'm here." Right. But when you want to have a discussion like that, there's nothing that I could say to bring his brother back. Right. Sorry is never going to be enough for anybody. And it's not enough for me. I just wish that we would have dealt with the situation differently.
Okay. So if you can say they're watching now, which I'm pretty sure they are, if you can just look into your camera there, what would you say to them?
I would say, I'm sorry that you lost your loved one the way that you did. And I wish that I could have been a better support to you during your time of grief.
Respect.